All right, so in our previous video, we just finished up speaker's tone, and now we're actually going to be moving on to speaker's body language. We're going to understand like what it actually means to have some body language as it pertains to us delivering speeches online and being recorded. So we're going to figure out how that's going to work, and I'm going to give you guys some tactics, the ones that I actually use, so that we can kind of put that in your speeches and have like an overall good idea of to bring speeches together using our hands and like kind of maneuvering our bodies as we are trying to navigate through this online environment and oral communication. All right, I know this background's kind of blurry, but it's really cool. I think I like it a lot. So in any case, I'm going to move on. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Hopefully everything looks good so far. We're going to get on to speaker's body language. All right, so the speaker's body language. Okay, and so like as I mentioned, body language is key in giving a speech and how to deliver that speech to your audience, right? Because it shows emotion, right? So when you're using your hands, you use your body to kind of like move around. It shows like a particular aspect, and it emphasizes portions within your speech when you're giving that speech as well. I'm going to show you. There's 4 concepts to it, and we're going to go over them like in greater detail and individually. But as of right now, I just kind of want you guys to understand like the brief overview of what it means to have body language, or in a sense of nonverbal communication, right? Okay. And so this is also known as kinetics, and kinetics is, like some of you might be kinesiology majors, but kinetics is the study of body emotions as a systematic mode of communication, right? So as we see in communication studies, that everything can be interpreted as a form of communication, right? And so there's not one wrong or right way to actually communicate. There is many sort of different kinds of ways, and kinetics is one way of communication as well. Okay, and so it's like I said, like in some ways that we can display our body language or our nonverbal communication is by our physical appearance. It's by our movements, our gestures, and our eye contact. Okay, and as some of you know, the ones who have submitted your speeches, that I did show, or I did actually kind of look at your body language and your eye contact as 2 separate pieces, because they are individually 2 separate pieces. And this is where we're going to go into detail as far as like how to describe that. Okay, and so keep that in mind for your upcoming speech, especially the cultural artifact, because body language is going to be key for that one for sure. All right, so next, first off, let's start speaking about personal appearance. All right, and this one I will say that I am not going to hold you to the level of personal appearance within your speeches, because I honestly feel that freedom of expression is something that should be, and needs to be displayed in all aspects of one's own body as one chooses. And that could be like getting your septum pierced, that could be having tattoos like the way that I have tattoos, it could be dressing the way that I want to dress. I wear a lot of like nerdy shirts like Star Wars and video game shirts and Baby Yoda and all that stuff. And I still am giving appropriate level speeches, right? And I'm teaching you guys this way, and it's to show you that your personal appearance has nothing to do with your level of intellect and intelligence, or the way that your abilities might be affected by the way that you dress. That has nothing to do with it, okay? But in your book, this is something that is addressed, and I do want to address it just so that you know. But just keep in mind that this will never be something I will ever judge you on or have a rubric on, as far as your personal attire, unless you have stated in your speech that what you are wearing is something that you would like to influence your speech, and then that will be done separately. Okay, so in your book, this is kind of seen like as like it's no surprise that when you're going for a job interview, that you want to look professional for your interview. And that's done because this shows that you are able to talk business and that you're ready for work, right? So you dress to impress, and that's where the saying comes from. That is in a professional setting, but for us here, I'm not going to judge you unless you ask me to about your personal appearance, and I don't think anybody wants to be judged on that anyway, so I'll just leave that there. In any case, moving on. So now we're going to be speaking about movement. Okay, and so movement, and this one is going to actually be very important. Movement is the way that we like convey communication, right? Non-verbally. And we do that non-verbally by using our hands the way that I do, right? Or we actually use our body, right? So sometimes like you guys will see me like fidgeting in class, like I'll like sit up or something like that. You know what I mean? That's a sense of body movement. What this is actually specifically talking about right here is using your body to convey emotions, attrition, or confidence. And attrition is essentially defined as like a way to exemplate particular factors, right? Like the notion of attrition, right? Something that is persevered, right? You're showing a level of perseverance, right? So that's what attrition means. You can also display emotions with your body, right? Being able to move your face, or being able to shrug your shoulders, or lean to a side, or kind of like lean back, or something like that. All of that is done by using your body to convey emotion. And then also with your confidence, right? Like having an upward stance, like shoulders straight back up, like that sort of stuff. That is like a perpetuation of like attrition and of confidence at the same time. So using movements or like conveying messages with our own personal body is something that we can do, and it is shown in like an in-class setting. Like if we were all in class, like I would ask for you guys to take this into consideration, but this is something that we can actually do online as well. And we do it online by allowing ourselves to move, not necessarily like sway like this, but like kind of like move forward, sit up, kind of accentuate like personal things, like, you know what I mean? Just kind of moving around. That's what the nonverbal communication factor of movement in your speeches would look like. Okay, and next we're going to go on to gestures. And gestures is defined in your book as the motion of a speaker's hands or arms during a speech. And as you guys know, I do move my hands quite a bit, and I try to like let you all know like what I'm actually trying to point to. And these gestures are, they're showing and conveying nonverbal communication messages in particular ways that I would like for you guys to all think, and kind of like think of things in like a more simplistic and a more critical way, rather than looking at it just purely by the denotative meaning of what that actually means. So use gestures to your advantage, especially in your cultural artifact and your persuasive speeches. Okay, and then lastly, we're gonna go over eye contact. And eye contact is defined as the direct visual contact with eyes of another person. And so for you guys, this is going to work one of two ways, okay? And so those one of two ways are, it's either you're going to look directly into the camera, which I actually find a little bit creepy, but as long as like you're looking like into the camera to where it looks like you have my personal like attention all the time, and you're pretending that your camera is actually your audience, then I think by using that particular tactic, because we are online and because we're doing recorded videos, we're able to show our audience an like we're able to show that we actually care, right? Because that's what eye contact is about, is that we're trying to convey the message completely to our audience by showing them that we are paying attention to them, and we're showing them that we are concerned about them taking messages from us. And so by doing that, we convey this message of like a holistic kind of caring sort of deal. So when we think of eye contact, think of it like this. And yes, eye contact will be a standard of rubric for your speeches, even from the beginning speech, from your narrative all the way to your persuasive. That is something that will actually be there. Eye contact and body language. So that's why it's very, very important for us to go over eye contact and body language as part of your delivery moving forward. Okay, all right. So that's going to be it for body language, or the speaker's body language. Lastly, we're going to go over how to practice your delivery. And you guys should have already answered all the questions that I had posed in this video so far. I'm trying to keep these as short as possible, but I don't really want to talk too fast for everyone. So go ahead and answer the questions. Then we have one more video, and then we're done for week 7, okay? And I will see you guys when we're finished. All right, bye.